What's up, guys? Coming to you today with a full slate of NBA and college basketball action here on Wednesday, February 11th. I'll give you my favorite picks on the side and over-under on each game. We're going to break down the biggest college basketball games of the night. I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock. So it was a huge thank you to me for breaking down this insanely deep slate of NBA games. Take that 10th of a second and slam that like button. It really genuinely helps get these videos promoted out there on YouTube. It's a huge part of keeping me motivated every single day to grind out these videos. I really appreciate everybody. It just takes a 10th of a second, guys, to click that little thumbs up button. Also, check below and see if you're subscribed to the channel. We've been getting a lot of new subscribers. We're up to 68,000 subscribers. Really excited to be approaching 70,000. The dream is to make it to 100,000 subscribers this year. So if you've got a friend that you think might be interested in these videos, share the video with them. See if we can pick up a subscriber or two there. Really appreciate everybody that does that. Also, get down in the comments and let me know any questions you have about today's slate, about anything you want to say about these videos, or any questions you have across the sporting world. I'm more than happy to get back to you, or reach out to the premium handicappers at stumpthespread.com, see if they have anything to say about your questions. Feels really good to be able to just help people out who just have genuine questions here every single day. So definitely get down there in the comments and make sure you're checking the pinned comment throughout the day. That's where you'll find my favorite picks from these videos every single solitary day. That is the top comment under every single video. That's where you will find those picks. That's where you'll find my lock of the day and my dog of the day. Now, guys, let's go ahead and look at a recap for what turned out to be a pretty solid Tuesday so far. We've got the Suns live at -7.5. They're currently up by 15 with 8 minutes left there against the Mavs, so hopefully they can hold on and figure that out. Unfortunately, Virginia, -8 did let us down. A terrible start there for the Cavaliers. They did make a big comeback and win the game, but only by 3. They did not have a great showing in that one. We did cash BYU -2.5, though. The Cougars get the job done over Baylor. It looked like things were going to work out easily despite this being a road game, but BYU made it pretty close there down the stretch. We still take the win and cover in this extremely high-scoring game. We also cashed Washington +11.5. That was an insane 92-90 win there over Illinois, so hope you guys sprinkled the money line. The Badgers go into Illinois, play an incredible game, and get the straight-up win in this one. This Wisconsin team kind of flying under the radar. I think they deserve a little bit more national attention. We cashed Vanderbilt +3.5 as our dog of the day. An 84-76 straight-up win there for Vanderbilt behind a monster game from Tyler Tanner. A good but not great shooting night there from the Commodores. Auburn did shoot the ball well, but not well enough here and lose this one despite playing at home. We still have the Spurs on the money line or against the spread alive for this game. We locked in San Antonio late last night when the lines were first coming out before the news broke about anybody that was potentially sitting this game out for the Lakers. I told you all to jump on it early, and I hope you did, because obviously the money line and the spread moved a ton for that one. Premium members got the Spurs at -8. So definitely hope that one can, they can hold on. They're up by 11 already in the first quarter, so things are looking pretty good there. Now, let's go ahead and dive in. We've got a massive slate to cover. Looking like a decent day there for the premium members. We'll see what happens down the stretch. We'll update you on that, and let's get after it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you've gotten over to Stump the Spread and at least checked out the free picks under the free picks tab and checked out that free email newsletter. Now let's get after it. First up, we've got the Atlanta Hawks heading to Charlotte to take on the Hornets. Atlanta comes into this game fresh off of back-to-back losses, including a 126-119 loss there to the Hornets. So we'll see what they can do. The Rising Stars, obviously, they add Ricochet as an injury sub, so I guess that's a nice little nod there. But the Hawks have not been having a great time. They're coming off a 138-116 loss against the Timberwolves, and Okongwu's back, but didn't play particularly well in that game. Ricochet had 3 points in 21 minutes and was 0 of 6 from 3, so that's pretty horrible. McCollum made his way into the starting lineup, had 38, a great night from him, but definitely not enough in the end. Nickeil Alexander-Walker played well. No Jalen Johnson in that game, so that obviously puts the Hawks in a pretty bad situation, and they were not able to dig themselves out of that bad situation. In this one, right now, Atlanta's pretty banged up. Dyson Daniels, Ricochet, Jalen Johnson, and Kuminga all on the injury report. Daniels, dealing with that ankle issue, is questionable for this one. Ricochet is questionable due to a left quadricep contusion. Jalen Johnson, dealing with that knee issue, is questionable for this game as well. And Kuminga will still be out for this one until at least after the All-Star break. So we'll see what happens here as they head to Charlotte. The Hornets are coming off a loss, a pretty crazy 110-104 loss there. We saw a pretty intense melee there. Not something you see in the NBA every night. People actually throwing some real punches and stuff. Lots of dudes getting ejected. 4 total ejections in that game. We'll see. We'll be checking on the injury report and stuff here, seeing who's getting suspended and who is going to be available for this game. But Right now, that appears to still be kind of up in the air. Bridges was ejected from that game. We'll see who actually ends up being suspended and stuff like that for the Hornets, but right now, they are relatively healthy coming into this game. Having Kobe White still sitting out is not great. Going to be out through the All-Star break through apparently an abundance of caution. And the Hornets are probably a little bit tilted they lost that game. They were really giving Detroit kind of all they could handle. Eventually, they do end up losing by 6. So we'll see what happens. See who all is suspended, going forward in this game. Going to be a little bit up in the air. But right now, it seems like the odds makers really like the Hornets a lot. Charlotte, they are 5.5-point favorites here at home. A total of 233.5 in this game. Atlanta 17-13 against the spread on the road, 13-15 against spread after a loss, 18-12 to the over on the road. Charlotte 14-11 against spread at home, 18-10 against spread off a loss, 17-8 to the under at home. Guys, irrespective of these potential suspensions, I will be taking the Hornets here at -5.5. The Hawks without Jalen Johnson are in a really, really bad spot. Given this spread, I do not think the odds makers expect him to play, and I don't either. Definitely giving the Hornets here at -5.5. Next up on this incredibly deep 14-game NBA slate, we've got the Washington Wizards heading to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. The Wizards obviously tanking pretty hard. They've lost their last 2 in a row. They're 14-38 on the season. They're coming off that 132-101 blowout loss at the hands of the Miami Heat. I mean, that was a pretty sad game. Not a lot of things to feel positive about, really. The Wizards shoot 33% from 3. They get crushed on the boards. And yeah, this team is just looking kind of hopeless right now. They're very, very locked into losing these games. They're sitting guys that are playing well in the fourth quarter. And yeah, just not a lot of positives. We see Kaishan George and Kulabe both probably sidelined for this one. Kulabe is questionable, and Kaishan George is also questionable, but I'd be shocked if we see either one of them suit up for this game as they head to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers, who have now won 4 in a row, taking down the Nuggets, Kings, Clippers, and Trailblazers. Seems like the Harden trade is, at least here in the early returns, working out. He had 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists in that win over the Nuggets. Jarrett Allen put up 22 points. Donovan Mitchell led the team with 32. Nobody going particularly nuts off the bench. They only shoot 33% from 3, but the fact that all happened and they still win the game is very, very positive. Cleveland comes into this one still banged up. Not going to have Dean Wade, not going to have Evan Mobley for this game, but, we're liking what we're seeing from Jalen Tyson. He's playing well. Sam Merrill getting some minutes mixed in there. Thomas Bryant putting in some minutes. Everything seems to be pointing in the right direction right now for Cleveland. Now, the Cavaliers are 18-point favorites in this game, guys. 18 points. We got a total of 237.5. Washington is 10-15 against spread on the road, 18-19 against spread after a loss, 13-12 to the over on the road. Cleveland 9-19 against spread at home. That's an NBA worst mark against spread at home. 13-19 against spread after a win. 17-11 to the under at home. Guys, these massive spreads like this have just been printing money this year in the NBA. I don't love it. I don't even want to watch this game. I certainly don't ever want to watch the Washington Wizards, but I will be taking the Wizards here, getting 18 points on the road. We just can't pass up on a spread this big. It's been too valuable over the course of the year. It just has to be a system play at this point. I don't think Cleveland's going to care enough to put in the work to win this game by 20 plus. Rolling right along here, we've got the Milwaukee Bucks heading to Orlando to take on the Magic. Milwaukee, they are 21-30 on the season, so not exactly killing it. They're fresh off a 118-99 loss there at the Magic. That was a really poorly played offensive game in the first quarter, but we do see Orlando kind of figure things out down the stretch. Milwaukee it was not a great look. Kuzma, 18 minutes, 3 points. He played so bad they couldn't even keep him out there. Miles Turner had 13. Kevin Porter Jr. is looking like a dynamic offensive option. He had 28. AJ Green had 15. But overall, this team just not good enough to hang with the Orlando Magic, who obviously haven't been great this season. Milwaukee with no Giannis is not looking so hot. We'll see. Apparently, he is going to play basketball again this year. We'll see what happens with that. Right now, they got to try and figure out how to make it work with what they have, and what they have is not a whole lot right now. So we'll see what they can do here at Orlando. The Magic, they come into this game 28-24 on the season. They've won 3 in a row. They're healthy now. Franz Wagner is back. Now is the time to go on a run. We'll see if they can make that happen. In that game against Milwaukee, in game 1 of this little 2-game set there in Orlando, we liked a lot of what we saw from Anthony Black. He had 26. Desmond Bane had 25. Paolo only had 11 on very poor shooting numbers. Mo Wagner and Franz Wagner each had 14 points and were pretty efficient out there. Orlando continues to struggle shooting the ball, but their defense and rebounding were good enough to get them over the top in this one, so they'll definitely take it, but still a lot of concerns for this Orlando team. They come into this game fully healthy and ready to go, so that's a big deal. Everybody ready to get after it. They are double-digit favorites here at home. They're 10.5-point favorites, got a total of 220.5. Milwaukee, 11-16 against spread on the road, 14-15 against spread after a loss, 19-8 to the under on the road. Orlando, 12-13 against spread at home, 9-18 against the spread after a win, 13-12 to the under at home. Guys, this is almost a system play as well. Generally speaking, you really, really want to lean towards those teams that lost in the first half of one of these little 2-game sets. Taking them and the points in the back in the last game has been very profitable. We are going to lean towards the Bucks here, getting 10.5. Will this make the pin comment? Maybe. I think we definitely have to seriously consider it. The Bucks, they could get a pretty bad game from Orlando in this one, and maybe we see Milwaukee keep things close. Hey guys, before we jump in and cover the rest of this insanely deep NBA slate, we got to shout out the sponsor today in every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily NBA, NHL, UFC, college basketball and college basketball picks. No NFL anymore, obviously. NFL is finished. Very profitable day there on the Super Bowl for the premium members, though I will say that. We had a very, very profitable Super Bowl Sunday. That was really, really nice. But overall, guys, things have been cooking over there at StumpTheSpread.com. NHL was on a crazy hot run heading into the break there for the Olympics, so that will be back before you know it. Premium college basketball and premium NBA picks coming out every single day, so definitely jump in there and get in on the action. Also, get over there to StumpTheSpread.com and check out all of the free stuff there. Free picks every single day under the free picks tab. Those come not from me, but directly from the premium handicapper. So it's a great way to check out what we offer, the premium members every single solitary day. You also got to get in on those free the free picks in those emails, guys, are insane. The email newsletter has been nuts. All the golf write-ups just have gone absolutely bonkers. You can see on the screen how those have been going. It has been a treasure trove of fantastic information on golf, but also NASCAR, WNBA, tennis, any niche sport you can imagine can be covered in those emails, as well as all the main sports. Play on BYU -2.5 went out in the email, and that one cashed there yesterday. So definitely just a great amount of fantastic information for any serious sports bettor over there at StumpTheSpread.com. And it's very easy to get on that free email newsletter, guys. Just go to StumpTheSpread.com, click that little green login button in the top right-hand corner, and sign up for a free account. They're just going to ask you for your name and your email address. That's it. You get one email straight to your inbox every single day. So definitely make sure you're not missing out on that. Also, get over to StumpTheSpread.com to pick up a Stump the Spread hoodie if you're interested in one of those to support the channel, to support me. They're under the shop tab. We're selling them right now for $39.99. That is at cost and with free shipping. So definitely get in on those if you're interested. You can have it in as little as 7 days. Also, guys, if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing from me here every single day, click that little join button right below the video to sign up for a YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, get their name up on screen in every single video, but maybe most importantly, they get access to our members-only giveaways. We give away a Stump the Spread hoodie here every single solitary week. Every single Monday, we do a new giveaway, and we put the name of every single YouTube channel member on a big wheel. We spin that wheel live on the Monday video, and whoever it lands on gets a Stump the Spread hoodie of their size mailed straight to their address of choice. Also, the more channel members we get, the more giveaways we're going to do. Right now, I believe we are at 112 or something like that, 114 members. If we can get up to 125 members, we are going to up that to 2 giveaways every single solitary week. So let's see if we can make that happen, guys. Big shout out to all the channel members. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you've gotten over to StumpTheSpread.com and checked out everything over there. And now let's go ahead and dive back. And we got a ton of games to cover here today. It's pretty nuts. Next up, we're going to move into the Chicago Bulls as they head to Boston to take on the Celtics. The Bulls come into this game 24-30 on the season. Colin Sexton just got fined for, it looked like he was flipping off the rim. I'm not sure if he was flipping off a fan, but apparently you can't do that. That's going to be a $35K fine. The Bulls have dropped 5 games in a row. They're 24-30 on the season, and things are not exactly headed in the right direction. A 123-115 loss at Brooklyn. Now, the Nets did shoot the lights out in that game. That's not something you see all the time. And Chicago only shot 28% from 3. This team still, it seemed like they were aiming towards the play-in at a minimum. So we'll see if they can get things, back headed in the right direction. Injuries have been a big problem. Giddey missing time is obviously a huge problem for this team. Jalen Smith and Trey Jones missing time also is not great. Giddey is doubtful for this game. Jalen Smith is doubtful as well, and Trey Jones is also doubtful. So sounds like they won't have any of them as they head to Boston to take on the Celtics. Now, some kind of bad news for the Celtics here is apparently the timeline is still extremely unclear on whether or not Tatum is going to come back this year. It seemed like that was pretty much guaranteed a month ago. Well, now apparently not so much, which is weird for a team that's 34-19 on the season. Obviously, you don't want to do anything to put his, the longevity of his career in jeopardy, but seemed like he was going to be fine. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. They're coming off a 111-89 loss at home against the Knicks. That was not a very good game. They shoot 17% from three. You're not going to win any games in the NBA where you shoot 17% from three. That's just not going to happen. Pritchard had a bad shooting game. Jaylen Brown was terrible. It was just a terrible night. Vooch and Pritchard went a combined 2 for 12 from three. I'm just not going to win games like that. We'll see if the Celtics can get back on track here. They're relatively healthy. Hauser is on the injury report. He's dealing with the back issue, but he is probable for this game. So it looks like the Celtics are basically going to be fully healthy for this one. They're 13.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 224.5. The Bulls are 11-16 against spread on the road, 11-18 against spread after a loss, 15-12 to the over on the road. Boston 12-14 against spread at home, 11-7 against spread after a loss, 17-9 to the under at home. Not really interested in the total in this game, and 13.5 is a very big number, but I have just hated everything I've seen from the Bulls. The Celtics are in a massive bounce back spot here. Give me Boston at minus 13.5. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Indiana Pacers heading to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. The Pacers are fresh off an insane 137-134 overtime win there against the Knicks. That was pretty nuts. Siakam put up 30. We liked a lot of what we saw from guys like Nembhard. He had 24. 3 double-digit scores coming off the bench. Shepard, TJ McConnell, and Jay Huff. And the Pacers shoot 40% from 3, do a good enough job on the boards, and hold the Knicks in check in general. So well played there from the Pacers. They are technically a tanking team, but a lot of positive stuff coming up for this squad next season. We'll see what their injury report actually looks like. I would not be shocked to see guys resting here on the second half of a back-to-back coming off an overtime game. The Nets come into this game winners of 2 in a row, taking down the Wizards and Bulls, so I'm not going to throw you a parade for that, but that is, relatively good work. They won that game against Chicago thanks to a great night shooting the ball from 3, despite not having Michael Porter Jr. out there. They shoot 48% from long range. They do a great job on the boards. We like what we saw from Clowney. We like what we saw from Claxton in that game, and Drake Powell with 14 off the bench. A lot of things pointing in the right direction for the Nets. Now, they are confirmed not going to have Michael Porter Jr. for this game. Dealing with that knee issue, will not play in this one. Clowney and Claxton are both on the injury report as well. Clowney probable and Claxton questionable with that right hip soreness. So we'll see who they have available for this one. This is a weird game now because of that overtime. It's got the Nets all the way up to 5.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 214.5. The Pacers 9-16 against spread on the road, 3-5 against spread on no rest, 17-8 to the under on the road. The Nets 14-12 against spread at home, 6-8 against the spread after a win, 13-13 to the over-under at home. Maybe you could look at under in this game. I wouldn't think that would be a crazy idea. In terms of a side, I guess give me the Nets, but really, guys, just let me stay away from this one. I am not interested in getting involved here in any meaningful way. Next on the docket, we got the first of 2 nationally televised games. We're looking at the New York Knicks heading to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers. Now, the Knicks, coming off that overtime loss there against the Pacers, not exactly an amazing showing. I mean, Brunson put up a 40-piece. Cool. It was in a loss, so that's a lot less cool. Shamet had to start and had 17 in 38 minutes, 22 from Bridges, 22 from Cat. He also had 14 boards. So, they put up a pretty good effort, but having no bench is a big problem. They only shoot 30% from 3. They're basically even on the boards, and this Knicks team not nearly as dominant as was expected. OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson continue to miss time. That is a big deal. Anunoby didn't play there against Indiana. We'll see if he can come back for this one. Still dealing with that toe issue. Mitchell Robinson didn't play due to left ankle injury management. I do pretty much expect him to be back for this game. So we'll see what happens as they head to Philly to take on the 76ers, who have lost 2 out of their last 3. We'll see what they can do. Tumani Kamara absolutely roasted them there in that 135-118 loss in Portland. They are back home now, so maybe that will help a little bit. In that loss, we did not necessarily see anywhere close to the full-strength 76ers. This was a Drummond game. He had 11 and 7 in 27 minutes. Maxey had 30. He played relatively well, but was still a minus 22. Not a lot of great stuff to report for this game. I mean, they shoot 37% from 3 and get killed on the board. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Obviously, health is a huge concern on a nightly basis for the 76ers. We see Dominic Barlow, Joel Embiid, as always, and Quentin Grimes all on the injury report. Barlow, dealing with an illness, is questionable. Embiid, dealing with his knee issue as always, is questionable, and Quentin Grimes with an illness is also questionable for this game. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, the Embiid news is very, very pivotal for this game. The 76ers are 1.5-point favorites here at home, which does make me think that Embiid is going to play in this one. We've got a total of 221.5. The Knicks are 9-16 against spread on the road, 11-8 against spread after a loss, 4-4 against spread on no rest, 14-11 to the under on the road. The 76ers are 13-15 against spread at home, but they are 16-6 against the spread after a loss, 15-13 to the over at home. Guys, I am going to take the 76ers here at -1.5, at least for the time being. Keep a close eye on this one. Make sure nothing major changes there in terms of the availability of, everybody for the Knicks coming off that overtime game, and for guys like Embiid for the 76ers. But right now, I think this is a 76ers spot. Rapid fire through this insane NBA slate. We got the Detroit Pistons heading to Toronto to take on the Raptors. The Pistons are 39-13 on the season. They've won 5 out of their last 6 overall. They're coming off that 6-point win at the Hornets that included that melee there. So we'll see what goes on. A very good game from Detroit, honestly. We see Duncan Robinson have a good night. As a team, they shoot only 20% from 3 and still get the win, though. That is very impressive. Cade had 33. Paul Reed had 12 off the bench. This team still seems to lack a little bit of, bench scoring, and their rebounding didn't have a great night there against the Hornets, but the Pistons will definitely take the win. We'll see who ends up getting suspended for this game for them. Keep a close eye on all the announcements for this game. The numbers are going to swing a lot. Potentially, maybe the odds makers already know here the Raptors are getting 2 points, so maybe they already know who's going to be sidelined. But, Cade's going to be ready to go. Asar Thompson, I believe, will be fine. Tobias Harris will be fine. So they're still going to have some pieces here as they head to Toronto to take on the Raptors, who at 32-22 on the season have won 3 out of their last 4. Those wins were against the Pacers, Bulls, and Jazz, so let's not freak out too much. Brandon Ingram going to make the All-Star game replacing Steph, so that's pretty cool for the Raptors. And in their 122-104 win, they're over a pretty bad Indiana team, or usually bad. I know they just knocked off the Knicks. Toronto shot 47% from the field and 37% from 3. Scotty Barnes played really well. We saw from RJ Barrett. He's him being healthy and is ready to go is a big deal. So we'll see what Toronto can do here down the stretch. They do come into this game pretty much fully healthy. No Jakob Poeltl, no Colin Murray-Boyles. Against the Pistons, if Duren is suspended, is that really a big deal? To me, I would kind of lean towards no. So look at the numbers, guys. The Raptors are getting 2 points. We've got a total of 223.5. Detroit 12-12 against spread on the road. 18-20 against spread after a win, 13-10-1 to the under on the road. Toronto is 12-16 against spread at home, 17-14 against spread after a win, 16-12 to the under at home. I do actually think under 223.5 is a good lean in this game. I don't think we're going to see a crazy amount of offense up there in the Great White North. I think both teams are very, very good and very physical defensively, so under makes a ton of sense. In terms of a side, I will lean just slightly towards Detroit here, but need to find out more about the potential suspension situation. Rapid fire through these games, we're looking at the Los Angeles Clippers heading to Houston to take on the Rockets. Now, right now, there aren't really numbers out for this game, or they just barely have been released. It looks like we're going to see... Oh, wait, no, they have fully been released. Yeah, it looks like the Rockets are up to 8.5-point favorites, and we have a total for this game of 210.5. Okay, so that didn't change too much from the first, the first numbers that were being reported very, very early. Now the Clippers, they come into this game fresh off that 102-95 loss at the Rockets. This is game 2, obviously this little 2-game set in Houston, and yeah, Kawhi played pretty well in game 1. He had 24 points in 31 minutes. We'll see if he keeps on chugging for a team that really doesn't seem like it has the legs to do much this season. The Clippers in general are relatively healthy coming in this game. Obviously no Garland yet. He's not ready to go dealing with that toe issue. He has no timetable for his return. So we'll see what happens here in Houston in game 2. Now the Rockets, they've won back-to-back games, beating the Thunder and beating the Clippers. KD putting up 26 in that win. Sengun had 22. So a lot of good news there for a Rockets team that really kind of sat on their hands, did not bring in any sort of point guard help there at the trade deadline, which in my eyes is probably a mistake. We do like Reed Shepherd, but I like him a lot more as a scorer than as a facilitator, so we'll see what happens down the stretch. He had a really good game there against the Clippers as well. Now, the Rockets are 8.5-point favorites in this game here at home. We've got a total of 210.5. The Clippers are 14-14 against spread on the road, 3-5 against the spread on no rest, a 500 over-under team on the road. Houston is 8-15 against the spread at home, 3-4 against the spread on no rest, 15-7-1 to the under at home. This is a really tough spot for me, guys. I am going to probably end up leaning towards the Clippers and the points. As far as we can see, it does appear Kawhi, is going to play in this game, no problem. I do worry about him eventually shutting it down for the season, but I do think Houston's just not playing well enough to deserve to be this big a favorite. So do give me the Clippers here getting 8.5 points, and I think this is a pretty reasonable spot getting to back the team that lost in the first half of a one of these 2-game series. Never feels terrible. Next up, we're going to the Portland Trailblazers heading to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. The Trailblazers are 26-28 on the season, but they've won 3 in a row, taking down the 76ers and beating the Grizzlies twice. In that win over the 76ers, Toumani Camara went off for 30 points. We liked what we saw from Denny Adjeva. He had 26 and did not appear like his back was bothering him too much. 12 points off the bench from Scoot Henderson. That's a great development. They dominate the boards. They shoot the lights out. This is a very, very good win for Portland, who needs to get back on track if they really do have some aspirations this season. Shadion Sharp is still injured. That's obviously not ideal, dealing with that calf issue. He will miss this game, but other than that, everybody on the roster is rested and ready to go. That's a huge deal, and it's been fairly rare this season for the Trailblazers. So we'll see what they can do in Minnesota. The Timberwolves, they're coming off a desperately needed 138-116 win there over the Hawks. They do take care of business. Ant puts up 30. Julius Randle has 18. We like what we saw from McDaniels. Gobert played well also. Dante DiVincenzo still not putting up great numbers, but Dosunmu, coming off the bench, by far his best game for the Timberwolves so far. He had 21, went 9 of 13 from the field, and 2 of 4 from 3. Excellent work from him, and Bones Highland had 13 points in his 15 minutes. So great work there from the Timberwolves bench, a unit that has really struggled at some points this season. So we'll see what they can do here. They are fully healthy and ready to go coming into this game, so that's definitely a big deal. They're 7.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 238.5. Portland, 12-13 against spread on the road, 13-12 against spread after a win, 15-10 to the under on the road. Minnesota, 12-16 against spread at home, 13-19 against spread after a win. They are 19-9 to the under when playing at home. This total is way too high in my opinion. Definitely give me the under in this game. We don't throw a crazy amount of NBA totals around, but this is definitely one that's going in the pinned comment. I just don't think we're going to see a crazy amount of offense in this game between these two teams in this position. In terms of a side, I will lean just slightly towards the Trailblazers since, when you're taking the under, those points have more value, but my main lean on this one is definitely going to be that under. Next on the docket, we got the Miami Heat heading to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. The Heat at 28-27 on the season, having a rough time. They're coming off a 115-111 loss to the Utah Jazz, the hard-tanking Utah Jazz. It was a brutal game. Wiggins had 26, Bam had 23, no Norman Powell in that game, 20 points off the bench, but just not enough to get the job done. 43-58 was the rebounding deficit there for the Heat. Not a good look. Not a good look at all. Kel'el Ware had 8 points and 6 boards, but only played 14 minutes. Things are weird right now for Miami, for sure. We'll see if they can get healthy, but getting Norman Powell out there on the floor has not been easy. Tyler Hero's been missing a crazy amount of time. It appears that Hero, yes, he'll remain out for this game. Norman Powell, due to his back issue, is also out for this one. Andrew Wiggins is on the injury report as well. He's dealing with with toe inflammation. He's questionable, and Pele Larson's going to be out, so a very, very limited version here of the Miami Heat are heading to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans, who have now won 2 in a row. They're coming off a 120-94 win there over the Kings. They made that one look pretty easy. We were on the Pelicans minus 6.5 in that one, so you'll love to see it. They've done a good job of staying healthy. Trey Murphy played well. He put up 21 points in that game. We liked what we saw in general. Zion had 18, 12 from Sadiq Bey, 12 26, just great numbers off the bench. 20 for Jeremiah Fears. Pelicans shoot 41% from 3. They do a good job. Well, actually, they do a terrible job on the boards, but still find a way to get the win. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Their injury report looks very, very good. A lot of healthy guys there, rested and ready to go for the Pelicans. No significant injury concerns. That's why they're actually 1.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 232.5. Miami 17-11 against spread on the road, 19-7 against spread after a loss. 15-13 to the under on the road. The Pelicans are 17-10-1 against spread at home. They're also 9-5 against spread after a win. They're 15-13 to the over at home. Guys, I'm going to take the Pelicans here. The Heat are just too banged up. I can't justify backing them even in what would normally be a great bounce back spot. No Norman Powell is a huge problem. This team really lacks offense without him. I will certainly take the Pelicans in this one playing at home. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Oklahoma City Thunder heading to Phoenix to take on the Suns. The Thunder at 41-13 on the year have obviously been, one of the best team, probably the best team in the NBA in general. They're coming off a 119-110 win there over the Lakers, which should have been a lot closer at the end. a lot of very egregious officiating, but we're pretty used to seeing that in Thunder games at this point. J-Dub came back and was terrible in the beginning of the game, but found his way there mostly to the free throw line, going 11 of 13 from the free throw line. And he had 23 points, 19 from Isaiah Joe, 17 from Caruso, and they do find a way to get the win. We'll see what this team can do down the stretch here. Obviously, really missing SGA, who's out until after the All-Star break. AJ Mitchell missing time as well is not great. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the Phoenix Suns, who are coming off a pretty, maybe not super hard fought, but a 120-111 win there over the Mavericks. So we'll cash that one. For the premium members, that was a nice little win there for the Suns. Dylan Brooks had 23. Devin Booker ended up with 19 on, fairly efficient shooting numbers, 3 double-digit scores off the bench, so a lot of good news there for the Suns. Unfortunately, we don't have a fully updated injury report for Phoenix right now since they're just coming off of that game. Grayson Allen has been missing time. That has not been ideal. He's going to be out until after the All-Star break for sure. So we'll see what happens here. The Suns are getting 7.5 or 6.5 points in this game, depending on where you look at, what book you look at. We've got a total of 217.5. The Thunder are 13-13 against spread on the road, 19-21 against spread after a win, 15-11 to the over on the road. The Suns are 17-9 against spread at home, 5-3 against the spread on no rest, 19-7 to the under at home. I think this is a pretty good spot to back the Suns getting all those points. I mean, the Lakers aren't even good. They didn't have Luka or anything in that game, and the Thunder could barely figure it out. I think the Suns, even playing on no rest here, could be in pretty good shape against these Oklahoma City Thunder, who are not looking nearly as good without SGA. Next on the docket, we got the Sacramento Kings heading to Utah to take on the Jazz. The Kings at 12-43 on the season are pretty hilariously bad. They've lost 13 straight games. They're coming off a 26-point loss at the Pelicans. Nothing's going right for this team. They mostly sat on their hands at the trade deadline, and now they're sitting everybody out. Westbrook, Levine, Hunter, Sabonis, and Malik Monk all listed on the injury report here as out. Westbrook won't play due to left ankle soreness. Levine with a finger issue is out. Hunter is dealing with some sort of eye issue, and Sabonis dealing with a back issue. Malik Monk, an illness. All are going to be sidelined as they take on the Utah Jazz, who are maybe going to be getting forced into winning games. We'll see what happens. They're coming off a 115-111 win there in Miami. Very good work from Markkanen, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Ace Bailey. The bench looked good as well. Filipowski and Sensabaugh all putting up excellent numbers. 58-43 was their rebounding advantage over the Heat. The Jazz played great in that game, and this team is maybe looking a little bit too talented to really convincingly tank. Keontae George will continue to miss time with that ankle issue. He won't play in this game, but other than that, everybody's going to be out there for the Jazz, who are 6.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 232.5. The Kings are 9-18 against spread on the road, 15-27 against spread after a loss, 14-13 to the under on the road. The Jazz are 15-12 against spread at home, 8-8 against spread after a win, 19-8 to the over at home. This is a brutal spot, guys, because the Jazz are trying to lose, but the Kings seem like they're trying to lose harder. Give me the Jazz here at -6.5. I think they are the better team by such a wide margin that it's not even going to matter if they try to tank. Even their bench is better than whatever third stringers we're going to see out there from the Kings. Heading into the last couple of NBA games before we hop over and cover some college basketball, we got the Memphis Grizzlies heading to Denver to take on the Nuggets. Now, the Grizzlies are 20-32 on the season. They've lost 3 straight, losing by 1 against the Warriors, by 7 against the Blazers, and by 20 against the Blazers. So we'll see what they can do in this one. I mean, in that game against the Warriors, they had every chance to win. Ty Jerome played okay, put up 19. Jalen Wells put up 10. Some very good production there coming from the bench, but in the end, it was not enough for a Memphis team that really... things are kind of in shambles. Ty Jerome is back. Cedric Coward is banged up. Santi Aldama is out for this game. We'll see what happens. Cedric Coward is, it seems like he's going to be out. He's actually doubtful. Cam Spencer's had some good games. We've liked, Scottie Pippen coming back should be helpful. So we'll see what they can do here in Denver. The Nuggets at 34-20 on the season have actually lost 4 out of their last 5 games. Obviously, Denver has dealt with just a slew of pretty devastating injuries. So we'll see what happens for them down the stretch. That 2-point loss there against the Cavaliers had to be pretty brutal. Jokic put up a good game. We liked what we saw in general from Christian Brown. He played well. Jamal Murray, though, not a great night. Julian Strawther played great. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Valanciunas put up good numbers off the bench. Definitely has to feel like a game the Nuggets surely think they should have won. They are banged up coming into this one, though. Murray, Brown, Spencer Jones is out, and Jokic all on the injury report. Jokic listed as probable for this game. Spencer Jones, due to concussion, is questionable. Christian Brown is probable, and Jamal Murray is also probable. So looking at the numbers, I do expect them all to play because the Nuggets are 13.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 236.5. Memphis, 12-13 against spread on the road, 15-16 against spread after a loss, 15-10 to the under on the road. Denver 12-13 against spread at home, 12-7 against spread after a loss, 15-10 to the over at home. This one is a bit of a tough spot. I am going to lean just slightly towards Memphis in the points, simply because I think Denver is not the kind of team to really lock in and try and blow out an opponent by some crazy number. Also, all those injuries don't help, so give me the Grizzlies getting all those points here on the road. Next up, guys, we got the San Antonio Spurs heading to Golden State to take on the Warriors in our second nationally televised game of the night. Now, the Spurs are currently up by exactly 30 on the Lakers at halftime. They've already got 82 points, and it's just now about to be halftime. They're putting up crazy numbers. They're playing great right now. Everybody's been healthy and ready to go, and it looks like they could be in for a relatively restful, relatively short night, since they're pretty clearly going to blow out the Lakers. So I do expect everybody to be healthy and ready to go as they head to Golden State to take on the Warriors, who at 29-25 on the season are trying to keep their heads above water as they wait for Steph to come back. They're coming off that 1-point win there over the Grizzlies. Pat Spencer leading the team with 17 points, 15 for Moody. Draymond had 14, 16 off the bench for Al Horford, and 16 for Podziemski. This Warriors team is not very good with no Steph, though. I got to say it. Steph going to be out for this one. DeAnthony Melton missing time is a huge deal. He's questionable due to a left gluteal contusion. We'll see. The Warriors are only 5.5-point underdogs here at home. We've got a total of 218.5. The Spurs 13-12-1 against spread on the road, 7-3 against spread on no rest, 16-10 to the under on the road. The Warriors 14-13 against spread at home, 11-17 against spread after a win, 16-11 to the over at home. Guys, I am slamming it here on the Spurs at anything less than double digits. They're by far the better team. Their bench could win this game for them, I think, against this shell of a roster from the Warriors. I don't think San Antonio's going to be too tired playing on back-to-back nights. I will definitely slam it on the Spurs in this one and jump in early. This line is going to move. Now, guys, after that massive NBA slate, we're going to hop in and cover a few of the bigger college basketball games out there on Wednesday. First up, we're looking at the number 14 Florida Gators heading to Georgia to take on the Bulldogs. Now, Florida, they're 17-6 on the season. They've been having a great run. They've won their last 3 in a row, including a convincing win over Alabama. They went into Texas A&M and got a blowout their last time out, so things are looking good. They're the top team in the SEC right now by record. They're second in the nation in total rebounding. They're 22nd in the nation in total offense. So there's a lot to like here as they head to Georgia to take on the Bulldogs, who are 5-5 in conference play out there in the SEC. They're coming off a nice road win at LSU. They had dropped 3 in a row before that, so that's not great. Jeremiah Wilkinson is a solid leading scorer. This team is very good offensively and on the boards. They play with a lot of pace, and their defensive numbers are good. Do they have what it takes to give a real game here to Florida? Well, Florida does have Kentucky on deck. That does put them in a little bit of a look-ahead spot. Not nearly as big of a look-ahead spot here for the Bulldogs, who are getting 7.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 166.5. Florida is 5-1 against the spread on the road, 14-8-1 to the under. Georgia, 5-8-1 against the spread at home, 12-11 to the under. This is a bit of a tough spot. It won't be making the pinned comment because of the look-ahead situation, but I will take Florida here on the road to get the winning cover. I just think they are by far the better team, and I think they figure things out here down the stretch against Georgia. Next up, we're looking at the ACC. We've got the Virginia Tech Hokies going on the road to take on the Clemson Tigers, the number 20 Clemson Tigers. Now, Virginia Tech, they're 16-8 on the season. They're only 5-6 in ACC play. They got blown out by Duke. They lost by 9 at NC State. Now they got to head to Clemson, so not exactly an easy stretch of games. This is not a very solid rebounding team. Their offensive numbers also leave a good amount to be desired, so they could be in a tough spot here at Clemson because the Tigers, they've been really good. They're 20-4 on the season. They're 10-1 in conference play. They're fresh off a 77-55 beatdown at Cal. They went out there to Stanford and Cal, that long trip out west, and took care of business. Now they get to come back home and face Virginia Tech before going on the road to take on Duke. So this is a massive look-ahead spot for a team that's been very good this season, largely because of defense and rebounding. So we'll see what happens. The Tigers are 8.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 138.5. Virginia Tech is 4-1-1 against spread on the road. They're a 500 over-under team. Clemson 5-6-1 against spread at home. 15-8 to the under. Maybe take a look at under in this game, but better than that, guys. I'll take Virginia Tech getting those 8.5 points. This is a massive look-ahead spot for Clemson, and I think they could fall victim to something involving that. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at the number 6 Yukon Huskies going on the road to take on the Butler Bulldogs. Yukon, they're 22-2 on the season. They're 6th in the nation. They're 12-1 in conference play. They are in a huge bounce-back spot coming off that 81-72 loss at St. John's. That one had to sting a little bit. I mean, they do get the nice bounce-back spot here to go to Butler and take on a team they've already beaten by 19 earlier this season. Obviously, Yukon's been amazing this year. They're a great defensive team that can put up very good numbers offensively as well. You've seen Yukon play, guys. They are a very, very dominant squad. They're heading to Butler to take on the Bulldogs, who are 4-9 in conference play. Finley Bizjack, great name, has put up great numbers this season, but they've lost 4 in a row. They're coming off a 70-55 beatdown at Marquette. That's not a great look. They are back home for this one, and they have put up decent offensive numbers this season, but most of that is just due to pace of play. They're not a great squad down the stretch in games. They've gotten blown out by teams like St. John's, Xavier. They did beat Seton Hall, DePaul, and Marquette, but over their last 4, the bottom has really fallen out. They haven't kept things very competitive against really anyone. Butler is getting 10.5 points in this game. We've got a total of 144.5. Connecticut is 4-4 against spread on the road, 12-12 to the over-under. Butler is 6-7 against spread at home. They're 12-11-1 to the over. I'm definitely taking Yukon here at minus 10.5. I think they're by far the better team. I think they get a blowout winning cover here. No major look-ahead spot for Yukon here either. So I think they're in excellent shape to get the bounce back after that tough loss against St. John's. Last but not least here, guys, we're staying in the Big East. We got the Providence Friars going on the road to take on the Seton Hall Pirates. Now, Providence, they're 11-13 on the season. They are coming off back-to-back wins, though, taking down Butler and DePaul. So this squad has still a lot to prove this season. Jalen Sellers has been a monster. They're 16th in the nation in total offense. Defensively, though, the Friars have not been great. We'll see how much that matters here at Seton Hall. The Pirates are 16-8 on the season, 6-7 in conference play. They have lost 2 in a row. They lost at Villanova and then went into Creighton and lost a 1-point game. That'd be pretty freaking devastating. This team has been more solid on both ends of the floor. They're a good defensive team, but I question whether or not they have the offense to really keep up with Providence. Providence is going to want to get out and run. We'll see if Seton Hall can inflict their pace of play on this game. The Pirates are 4.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 149.5. Providence is 4-3 against the spread on the road, 18-6 to the over. Seton Hall is 5-8 against spread at home, 15-9 to the under. I will certainly be taking Providence here, getting those 4.5 points at home, or on the road, I mean. I think their offense is going to just be a little bit too much for Seton Hall to handle. Are they live on the money line? I would honestly say yes in this specific matchup. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today. Do me that big favor and take that 10th of a second and smash that like button. Hopefully it'll bring you good luck on all of your bets, and hopefully, guys, that will lead you subscribing to the channel. Big shout out to all the new subscribers. It's really helps keep me motivated seeing that subscriber number grow and grow. Get down there in the comments. Let me know any questions you want to ask about today's slate or anything else. I appreciate all of you watching. Make sure you're clicking the link in the description to get that over there to stumpthespread.com. Check out the free picks. Check out that email newsletter every single day, and definitely get in the mix on those premium picks. A crazy amount of work is being put into those every single solitary day. Guys, we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Same time, same place for more sports betting action.